Good morning, this is Sean Sanders. Thank you so much for clicking back to my channel. Hit that like button, subscribe, and tell a friend about me. Happy Tuesday? Yeah. Nonstop November. And I had to get a video out to you, so I'm trying to do a quick video to upload because I have been sick and I have been sleeping in. This NyQuil has been laying me out, and I have medicine head and my eyes are puffy and I'm not feeling 100%, but you know, since I'm the boss lady, I have to come to work. So happy Tuesday. And I watched half of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm not sure if it's going to be a review, but I just wanted to talk about some things that I saw. And of course, one of the main topics, there's a couple of main topics that I've seen so far. One is Cynthia dating. Another one is Sheree dealing with the aftermath of the rollout of what happened from last season between her and Bob, and the abuse that happened within their marriage. And then there's another storyline between Shamia and Portia and their friendship. So let's talk about relationships. They're not easy. And Kenya and her husband. Okay, so let's talk about relationships. They're not easy. And you know, I'm gonna set Sheree's situation aside because I don't want to meld that situation in the other topics. But there seems to be, in the other storylines from this episode, that there seems to be a lack of maturity, of understanding about relationships. So let's talk about Shamia and Portia. Evidently, they are childhood friends. Shamia is getting ready to get married. There is going to be a destination wedding to Kenya, and Portia is not going. Okay, Candy is going. Now, Shamia is really beside herself because she feels that Portia should be coming to her wedding. Evidently, she was in the wedding, and she's giving reasons why she's not coming. Some of it is medical, some of it is financial, part of it may be true, but there was a line that Shamia said that she's not really ready to take to heart. And she says, I always feel like I'm the one working at this friendship. And I would say, you probably are. If you feel like you're the one that's working at this friendship, you probably are. And you're probably working too much. Now, we all know how that all fell out. And I also say, both of y'all are on two different tracks. Now, I don't know much about Shamia's relationship as far as what she has or has not done in a friendship. But let's put it out what we see so far. You know, we got introduced to Shamia in Miami. She's Portia's friend. We've seen her, and she's kind of like had her own light now. She's been in people's plot lines, and she seems like a good, fun girl. And you know, Portia was married and then divorced, and then she took on Phaedra as a best friend, a partner in crime. And then during that time, we know that Shamia has been engaged to an African man. And, you know, she's living the life as a soon-to-be wife. So you have one woman that's coming off from a divorce and she's living her life and fancy-free. And then you have another woman who is going into the role of being a wife. Two different tracks. Two different tracks. And so I would even venture to say that even though you have worked at the friendship has not been what it has been in the past because you guys are grown. You know, I mean, I'm just going to step out and say that if I had a fiance and my husband-to-be knew that my best friend was Queen of Thoughtlandia, I'm sure he may have some apprehensions of me hanging out with Thoughtlandia. And maybe even if he didn't say it, I would be sensitive to the fact that my best friend is out there rebounding from a relationship and we're not on the same path. Whereas Portia and Phaedra were. They were both two women divorced and living their life like it's golden. So, you know, it's very difficult for people, especially in friendships where you've had long-term friendships and you've moved on to different places in your lives, and you're thinking that this person should have the same amount of reverence to your friendship, and that's just not how it's going. And Portia is in this place where she doesn't even want friends, really. Her family is going to be her friends. So I just would say, Shamia, just let it go. You know, love her from afar. You know, reminisce about the friendship you had, but it's just not where it's at or where it's going to be. I don't see it ever being where you would like it to be because she's just not in that place. All right. Kenya is having a meltdown about her husband who's private, and she's all upset. Now I'm almost convinced that this is a real relationship because she's so emotional, and she hasn't been emotional with the past guys that she's been with and that she's married, and I can respect that. But Kenya, you've been in this game for a long time. My thing is, why wouldn't you have gotten a media person, hired a media person, and kind of put him through a media boot camp and let him into your world? I'm sorry, when she said he married me, not all of this, he did. That's like, I mean, that's like being married to Michael Jackson and not think you're going to be chased, you know, or any high profile person, that you come with some baggage and that you need to have a game plan, and you're a smart woman, and I don't understand why you wouldn't protect your husband by giving him the tools and the equipment that he can navigate through this, and so he can feel comfortable. Because saying that he's not used to it, yeah, that's true, but you also need to give him some media training, because it's going to happen. And the fact that you're in Atlanta and he's in New York, you know, people are going to probably approach him because he's not even going to be with you to have that physical protection to kind of step in and say, we don't have anything to say. So it's really naive and really immature to think that he should not be ready for all the craziness that's going to happen. That just seemed that I didn't understand that. I didn't understand it at all. Put it down in the comments if you understood why she was so upset, and why wouldn't she get a publicist and a media person to put him through boot camp so that he could, you know, even awkwardly navigate how that's all going to be for a while. Anyway. All right, so I talked about Portia and Shamia. I talked about Kenya. Okay, so let's talk about Sheree. Now, all this stuff with Sheree and Bob, it kind of made sense about how she was in previous seasons, because most of us really thought that she was kind of cold. And so it's come out, and I want to be sensitive to it, that, you know, she's really bottled up and she has kind of soldiered on and not really dealt with situations in her past with her relationship, which makes sense why she really, you remember when she was on a couple of seasons back where she was going on these dates and she was just like, I don't know, it's just, she was just really disconnected. It's really hard to move on to a relationship when you haven't finished doing the work and of figuring out what went wrong and how you contributed to it, and how all that made you feel, so you can be healthy for the next relationship. Anyway, so she's really becoming human. She's really softening up, and we're really understanding why she has such a hard shell. And this "who gonna check me, boo" really is a facade about some things that are really serious in her life. Now, I understand as a mom being protective of your children, and the truth is that she really needs to work these things out herself before she can talk to her kids. However, you know, her children aren't little, They're adults, and you can have this conversation, and I think it would do you service as a mom and as a woman, both to her son and daughter, to understand how this affects, and that crying is okay. I think when we don't show emotions in front of our children, that when they have emotions, they don't know how they're supposed to process it because they haven't had a modeling. Now, I'm not saying fall apart. I understand that. But your children seeing you cry, seeing you have emotion, it's also a healthy thing, because when they are running up against things that make them emotional, they will have a healthy way of responding. So I think that, your children are young adults, and obviously it's already come out. And you just have a grown adult, heart-to-heart conversation about what you were thinking and feeling when they were little, and how this has affected you, and also to have it as a teachable moment of what healthy relationships should look like, how you should be, how a man should treat a woman, how a woman should not stay if she's in any kind of abuse. And so that you can give them the tools so that they know that when they go on into their relationships, what they should expect, what they should, what boundaries they should have on both sides. And this can be a great learning lesson for your son and daughter. So I'm sure it'll play out, but that's what I had as far as like my first impulse, reaction about it. So let me know in the comments what you think. I didn't think role playing was necessary, but I guess because she's so emotional, the doctor gave her the homework to role play before talking to her kids. So I think it'll be all right. So take care of yourself and each other. Nonstop November. Talk to you soon. Bye.